Hello everybody, welcome to the show. This is AndreJMcClendon coming out with you with a new video. This is a little bit different. I will be talking about why I think minimum wage is a scam. But before I get into that, please guys, watch the video to the end and drop a comment. Let's build up a conversation. Please like and share and get this out there because I would love to see what people think. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, but let's dive into the details. So the reason why I'm making this video, I've seen on social media and a lot of people say this minimum wage has to be $20, $15. And my personal perspective when I talk to them is that I think it's a scam. So here's the reason why. I think minimum wage is a scam because it's a deceptive. It takes wealth or money from employers and employees and is forced upon by you by law, and it's immoral. So the definitions that I will be going over with is on Merriam-Webster a website. I'll be going over minimum wage, which is the lowest wage or permitted to be paid, and what a scam is: a fraudulent or deceptive act or operation. And I'll be going over 5 reasons why. Number 1, my first reason out of 5 why I think minimum wage is a scam is because it hurts the employee and worker relationship. Let's dive into that with a few examples. So the minimum wage forces the employer to pay employees not their worth. So for example, when applying for a job, an employer is forced to pay a minimum amount to whoever that person is hired despite the task or the job. So people are getting paid either too much or not enough off the bat because of federal law. My next example, to break that down to details more, would be this. So if an owner wants to hire, let's say a 14-year-old owner of a barbershop wants to hire a 14-year-old kid, first job, new to the workforce, right? Cool. He wants them to sweep the floor, clean around, but he's concerned that he has to pay the teenager $7.25. To him, it's not worth that amount. So it really messes up the relationship. So if he wants to hire someone, or she wants to hire someone, he's already pegged at a different amount. So a different amount that he doesn't want it to pay. He's overpaying for a simple task. So when it comes down to it, and for this example, how it hurts the employee and work relationship, there's a middleman, the government, between the employee and the employer to be hired, forcing their hands. It forces their pay. So here's the second reason why I think that minimum wage is a scam. It destroys the job market. And I got 3 examples coming at you. All right, cool. So the first one, let's go back to the 14-year-old trying to apply or wants to work at the barbershop, right? So if the owner of the barbershop wants to hire a 14-year-old to sweep the floor, clean around the shop, he has to pay him the minimum wage of $7.25. Now, this job can be placed out the market because he's paying too much for a simple task, but he doesn't have the time for. This is too much money for a simple task. So it hurts the relationship and also places that job outside the market. So it's not there anymore. So now more people are doing more jobs within that one job, more tasks to be specific. So the employer is doing it, which kills himself because he's doing even more. So the second example I got for you is this. It's killing the job market. It's killing jobs by making jobs unavailable due to the wage. So jobs like gas pumpers, how we used to have, cleaners, or simple things that just to build a work experience because it's your first job, they're not priced out because the minimum wage, if it does increase or stay or maintain the same, the small business owner can't handle that wage, or basically the difference in cost, or the difference in taking so much money out, paying out the employees, that he has to do it by himself or overwork the other workers to do the same thing. But I will go in detail for this last point. Big businesses love minimum wage, but in the fact that it kills competition. And I'll go into that for my third main point. But my last example is that if minimum wage increases to say $15 or more, say we just start at $15, what this does is it forces employers to employ people less. So people have to get fired, or they have to work less hours and then have more responsibilities for their employer. So this causes them to be overworked, and overworked means this causing more problems for the owner. Now, remember, this is a relationship for both people, employer and employer, and there's a middleman messing it up, government. So I will go into my third point. I believe that the minimum wage destroys small businesses because big businesses use this to get rid of competition. Small businesses find it difficult to handle the increase on prices on their consumers. And the employer gets hurt, fined more financially because there's an increase of $15 an hour. And now he's doubling his pay. He's doubling the pay to the employees. So it's taking a burden on him because the employer gets paid last if there's anything left. With big businesses being so big, they can slightly increase their prices for the change in for the employees. The small business can't do that. They don't have that much wiggle room for that. So what ends up happening is that these big businesses, they will increase their prices slightly. But the small business will have to dramatically increase its prices just for the exact same thing, just to stay around in business, or fire employees, or let them work less, and he or she will have to do even more. So what ends up happening is that with this increase of minimum wage, it prices them out. It hurts the business to a point where they start shutting down. So a good example, which I will link below, is that if you look at car washing companies in New York, they used to hand wash companies. Now all these companies that used to have people wash cars are not there anymore. Not saying all of them are gone, but a lot of them are gone, and the automatic machine ones for washing cars are replacing them. And this is given to our second example. Big businesses will automate. So since they have more money to spend, they have more things that are more accessible to them because they have more money, the minimum wage doesn't affect them. They just grab more business and they'll just automate. So a good example just on this. Now I'm not saying McDonald's will do this. I'm just using it as an example. Just say a burger shop. Like McDonald's, for example, they have their dollar menu, and minimum wage is dramatically increased. So if there's dramatically increased, the other burger shops are not going to be able to handle it. So what other big giant companies would do, they're like, you know what, we're going to automate. We're going to make a machine that can make the hamburger for us or prepare a lot of it for them so they have less workers. And this can and what else can happen is that they don't have to automate so much. They can either decrease the quantity of that burger. So you get a smaller patty, you don't get all the ingredients, you have to pay for more. And now that dollar menu now became a $3 menu. So that's number 3. Now my fourth one is the federal government is too invasive into people's lives. And this is why I'm saying that minimum wage becomes deceptive. It becomes a scam because the minimum wage makes the federal government bigger. It controls more and more, and now between the employee and employer, and it forces their hand. And it can practically make the owner or the business owner pay any price voted upon and passed. So for now, it's $7.25 for federal, and if people wanted to $15 and $20, now that middleman is hurting both sides. Prices will go up, and also it will cause less employees. The minimum wage causes this deficit of jobs. So I get into my second example of that. The federal government gets bigger and bigger, right? And it overreaches into the states. So what I'm saying is this. The federal government now is taking responsibility for the states. What the states should decide. I still don't like minimum wage. Don't like it at all. But it shouldn't be a federal law. It should be controlled by the states only. So, and what I don't like is that some states could have it to be $4 or $6. To go more in depth, for example, like some states have bigger cities, some states have more bigger populations, and that minimum wage isn't enough for every city. So when you say, hey guys, let's make let's pass a minimum wage is now $15 an hour. How does $15 an hour affect like Rhode Island or smaller states? That might damage or hurt their entire economy, the state economy, because you're asking too much for a minimum wage for two simple tasks. Maybe cities like Los Angeles or Miami can handle it, but not Rhode Island or Minnesota, smaller states. So that's why I think it's deceptive, because the federal government is reaching into too many states and controlling them. Here's my fifth one, guys. This creates inflation. This mandates either higher prices or lower quality if the price stays the same. Kind of like get the hamburger patty before at minimum wage of $7.25 being this big, but then when they increase it to $15 to get that same hamburger, not the same exactly, but you get it at the smaller amount, a smaller patty amount. Or for another example, it would be like you get 12 donuts before, but now you get only 8. And this will be happening immediately, because once it passes, there's going to be some delay time before it takes effect. But employers are going to act according to it just because of the profit margins, so they can stay in business. So the prices and everything will change before the actual increase in pay. All right, guys. Thank you guys for making it to the end. I just wanted to get off my chest what I thought about minimum wage. And when it comes to jobs are just a competition, competing for wages for employees and employers. Employers are competing, finding the best of the best, and they're going to pay for it with incentives, perks. And I believe that the minimum wage hurts that relationship and takes away many incentives. So just to recap, guys, please get this out there. I really want to hear people's thoughts about minimum wage. Thank you so much. Please like, share, subscribe, and have a beautiful day. I'll see you.